Hey guys, welcome to the program. It is so nice to have you here on this beautiful day. The scripture says, this is the day the Lord has made, and we're going to rejoice and be glad in it. No matter what we're seeing, what we're experiencing, what we're a part of, we're going to rejoice and be glad in it. It is so nice to see all of you guys in here. Everybody is jumping on, getting ready to roll. Let's roll a little bit of this stuff there. Linda Cassio, God bless you. Check it out here. Tanya Painter, good evening, Pastor Greg. I see you. Oh, GT in the house. I see you there. Judy Roberts checking in. Barbara Rolfe is saying a big hello from the France cabin. Mount Airy, North Carolina, checking in right there. Richmond, Virginia, coming in, broadcasting. They're just blowing my computer up here from Richmond, Virginia tonight. Going to be awesome. We've got the metropolis of Fredonia. And guys, you know I am broadcasting 13 feet towering high above South Mercer Street coming from Greenville, Pennsylvania. So, Mahalik checking in. I see you there. Ray Suhaliga, he drops in the hey people. Bill Terry wants us to know that he is checking in as well. And you know what? I've got to give a special shout out here to our longtime and faithful viewer, Mr. Ray Fell. So you can see the message there. I received a message earlier that God did something wonderful at the Fell household. If you see the message there that I've got up, watching from Cobblestone Hotel, well, Dad and Mom fell. Well, here's the deal. I received a testimony from the Fell crew, the Hodge crew, that there was a miracle at the house of Ray Fell. Ray, evidently, he and his wife had a kitchen fire contained in the stove area. I don't know all the details, but I know it was to the level that they've had to now relocate to a hotel temporarily while they get their kitchen, I guess, reconstructed. I'll be checking on them personally later, but here's the deal. Ray Fell had a testimony that God had spoken to him and told him to unplug this electrical outlet. And that saved his house from burning down, from what I understand. So big shout out to the Fells who are checking in from the Cobblestone Hotel. God bless you. Eric Wilson, yes, it is Tuesday again. Valerie Archer checking in from Yerington, Nevada. Listen, Yerington, Nevada is one of the most beautiful places in the entire United States. I know we've got some viewers in tonight from Bryce Canyon, Utah as well. And I'm excited for them. Bob Piccarilli, hello to you. Karen Odell checking in from the beautiful state of Oklahoma. So, hey, what a wonderful testimony to start our night tonight. So, God bless you, Fell household, the way God intervened for you guys and moved on your behalf so you still have a house. So, I guess you're over at the hotel. Good thing they have Wi Fi, and your daughter brought by the iPad. In fact, why don't you guys just have the hotel set it up and let's just broadcast it for the whole thing? Ian Hockett giving a big praise the Lord. And I've got Hello Love with the hearts checking in somewhere from the metropolis of Greenville. I think she's with her mother or she went to see a softball game. Regardless, it is awesome. And yes, I think Valerie Archer, that is what we can say. God is good. Big hello, big welcome to our Integrity Television audience. I was saving you guys for last so I can give you a big shout out and a big hello. Love you guys. Welcome to this community. It is awesome what God is doing in here. We've got quite a few things to look at tonight. In fact, I've done some digging and I'm ready to reveal to you tonight exactly what happened, not only at Biden-Putin 1, but at the G7 summit. All the transcripts have been released, all the conversations. Of course, everything that a president does is recorded. And let me tell you something about this. Last night, I played a little bit of video games with my friend Superman, Morel. He'll be in the program. Yes, I'm a 48-year-old gamer. Sorry to disappoint all the wonderful Integrity Television viewers that think I just sit around and work on this. No, my relaxation's a little later in the night. I play a little video games with my friends. After that, he had to get up early for work today. He says, I got to roll a little early, PG. I said, no problem. I bopped over to YouTube right before I went to bed, and I started watching transcripts of President Kennedy's phone calls and meetings, audio recordings. Everything presidents do is recorded. This is back as far as we've had the technology to record. So there is the JFK library that you can go on and listen to Kennedy's phone calls and meetings. I listened last night to 2 calls. The first one was when President John F. Kennedy called General Eisenhower, who was still former president, and talked about the Cuban Missile Bay crisis and got advice from him. So respectful, so honorable. It was beautiful. And then I listened to the meeting between John F. Kennedy and the director of NASA, 1962, when he told him, you will put somebody on the moon this decade, period. Well, Mr. President, I'm not sure we can figure that out in time. Unacceptable. You're going to do it. In thinking about that, what I'm going to be sharing with you here in a little while, it's not just hearsay. Everything that presidents do is recorded and documented for all time. So these transcripts, these interviews, these meetings between he and the G7, he and Vladimir Putin, the transcripts have been released. Some very, very interesting things that we're going to be looking at. If you're joining tonight on YouTube, you saw the title of the show that allows me to do that. So for those of you at Facebook Integrity Television, tonight we're really going to talk about the church becoming awake so that we can minister to the woke, okay? You and I becoming awake, understanding, now scripturally awake, not politically woke, scripturally awake so we can minister to those that are dealing with the woke. Paul Kiss, Mr. Canada, Pennsylvania, welcome to the program. Lane Gorley, God bless you. Folks, I am really thirsty. As you know, the wait is going on. I report to you every Friday. And let me pop that up there before we roll the beverage. Rhonda Hodge saying, thank you for all the prayers for my granddaughter Chloe and her boyfriend Marlon. God needed him today. Yes, we dealt with that on Sunday. For those of you that don't know, young man in our community passed away, and we have been praying for him and his family. Buddy Wilson, God bless you. Folks, I'm very thirsty tonight. I'm still doing very well with scaling it down. You'll get a report on the weight loss Friday. Others in the community have also joined in. I won't be dropping names, but I will be dropping weight loss. We're getting a healthy scale it down summer. We all need to become a part of that. But right now, I'm thirsty.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you are about to witness is not only exciting and educational, but sometimes a bit risky as well. Do not try this at home. It's time for the beverage of the night.
So folks, basically what I'm doing to scale it down is I'm eliminating the sugar in my diet. I'm sweet enough. I know a lot of you are going, no, you're not sweet. You're not sweet. I'm eliminating the sugar in my diet. So you guys are doing good. Most of you, Eric Wilson, sending in healthy beverages. Tonight, the beverage of the night was delivered actually a week ago by my wife, trying to help me out with this program because I love tea. So she has found some brisk, zero sugar, lemon iced tea. I am looking forward to that. Look at here. We got a big greetings from Ruby's Inn restaurant. You're somewhere in Utah. I think you're near Bryce Canyon or something. Folks, here we go. You know, I could actually swim in that. Folks, I highly recommend the Brisk Zero Sugar. Good grief, that stuff is good. Hey, I'm going to be sipping on that all night. It's time to roll. A lot of stuff to cover. Buckle your seatbelts. Boom. So folks, as I was sharing with you earlier, I gave you the example of the JFK transcripts. I honestly highly recommend, if you get some free time, they're so interesting to listen to now that we're looking back in time 60 years and to hear what actually unfolded. With that said, in the future, and even in the present tonight, we're going to look back and we're going to evaluate what happened in the G7 and the summit with Vladimir Putin. I told you I wasn't finished with that one yet. I did do a little bit more research, and here's what we have. Biden's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad foreign trip. I guess that's a fair headline, but it's the reality. Biden's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad foreign trip. Now, I'm not going to you guys know, berate anybody. I'll tell the truth now. We'll turn the heat up, but I never get personal. Joe Biden, president, vice president is Kamala Harris, even though I have moved her to press secretary and I've moved Jen Psaki to vice president because she does a whole lot more than the vice president does. I don't even know where the vice president is today. I guess we're coming out with a new program. Where in the world is Waldo? It's going to be Where in the World is Kamala? Vice President Kamala, respectfully. Joe Biden's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad foreign trip. The transcripts have been released. Now, this is going to be a two-part thing. I'm going to share with you for a couple of minutes what really happened, what conversations happened, what snafus were made. But that's not what I want to focus on. What I want to focus on is what has happened in the world, the American standing immediately after the G7 and immediately after the summit with Vladimir Putin. So you're asking, okay, lay it on us. What happened? Well, on the G7 and the meetings with Vladimir Putin, these are combined. President Biden confused Syria with Libya 3 times. President Biden, when he was talking about how long he had been in office, he gave the wrong amount of time. He was being mimicked, joked a little bit, and you can look this up on your own. I'm not even showing the video. I don't want to be disrespectful. I just want us to know what's really going on. Boris Johnson had welcomed the South African president to the G7 meeting, and he was sitting right to the immediate right of President Biden, and the president from South Africa was 2 seats to the right of Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of UK, we want to welcome everybody from the G7. We would like to welcome this person, this person. Then he looked to the right and he said, we'd like to welcome the president of South Africa. You just got in. We know that. If you need some refreshment, let us know, and we'll take care of you. Then there was a pause. And then Joe Biden said, we'd like to welcome the president from South Africa because he's not here yet, but he's on the way. Folks, I can show you the video for this. It was turned into a joking time, but it's a sad moment. A couple of times I did show you videos of pre-discussions about the Putin-Biden summit, and he was just tongue-tied. He continually fidgeted and read off of his index cards, giving him the main points, what to say. It's just like a nervousness that is there that shouldn't be there. During the G7 meeting, in one of the breakout meetings, he absolutely became disoriented and lost his way in the middle of one of his speeches. And probably you've seen this. He lost his cool, snapping at a reporter at a interview after the summit with President Putin. Kamala was in Pittsburgh yesterday. Let's see here. Speaking at a recreation center about the child tax credit. Mike, were you there on the front row? I actually knew she was there. I just didn't want to talk about it because she had the creepy laugh going again. It's just, I couldn't give any time for it. During the summit with Vladimir Putin, Americans and the American government, including Republicans, moderates, and liberals, specifically asked Joe Biden, President Biden, to discuss cybersecurity with Vladimir Putin. He was also asked to discuss specifically Ukraine and the ongoing struggle there between Russia and Ukraine. The reason for that is Ukraine is trying to gain access to NATO. United States is an ally of Ukraine and sort of an ally with Russia, although our relationships are extremely struggled. He did not do that. From the transcripts, this is what happened. President Biden asked Vladimir Putin if he would list the top 16 things that they need to discuss as leaders of some of the strongest countries in the world. What this did was this took the position of authority away from what is supposed to be the strongest and the leader of the free world, and it put all of the playing cards as a diplomat and during the discussions in Vladimir Putin's hands. And of course, when he has the cards in his hands, it's over. Nothing specific was addressed about cybersecurity. Nothing specific was addressed about Ukraine. These were just spoke about in glancing little moments. The second thing that President Biden was sent there to do, requested by Republicans, moderates, and Democrats and liberals, progressives, all of them, was to secure the release of Americans Paul Whelan and Trevor Reed. President Biden did not even bring it up to Vladimir Putin. They were to discuss in depth the repercussions that need to come against the Chinese government due to, most likely, COVID leaking out of Wuhan, whether it was intentional or by an accident. Regardless, they're responsible. They're responsible for the last year. They're responsible as a government for what has ensued in America. President Biden did not even bring it up. Folks, here's the point. Extreme weakness is being displayed. And this is a part of what we are talking about tonight. It's very important that we understand this. So the question that happens is, what's next? So now on the stage, we've met with the G7. On the stage, we've met with President Putin. Now, what are other nations going to do in regard to the relations with America? Well, I'm glad you asked. Since President Biden has returned to the United States, the G7 is over. The summit with President Putin is over. I want to share with you what has unfolded in the world in the last few days. Check this one out. President Putin has now accused the United States of orchestrating the 2014 coup in Ukraine. This is the time when Yanukovych, the president of Ukraine, was removed from office. I actually happened to be in Ukraine just a few weeks after this event happened. I was on the ground in Ukraine personally right after the Orange Revolution, as it was called. Putin is now accusing the United States of orchestrating the coup in Ukraine. When most national governments around the world have agreed that it was actually Russia meddling in Ukrainian affairs, and with President Yanukovych, who was a strong ally of Russia, that put the tilt on the government in Ukraine that helped orchestrate the coup. But since the G7 is over, Obama's out of office, Trump is out of office, President Biden is in office, we've met with him, we see how he plays. Immediately, Russia comes out and accuses America of causing the coup. How about Iran having a new election? And the new president, Ibrahim Raisi, the Butcher of Tehran is his nickname. 1988, he was sanctioned for being a part of and leading the murder of hundreds and hundreds of dissidents. Very hardcore conservative. He is, and not conservative how you think conservative in Iranian standards, meaning anti-Israel, anti-United States. And his first statement after he was elected He says, I will not meet with Biden. We will continue to develop our program. And if we join the nuclear agreement again, it will be on our terms because we have to be able to defend ourselves. There is no fear now. Now, remember, when I talk about foreign governments, I'm talking about the governments. In fact, in Iran, there are many wonderful Iranians, beautiful brothers and sisters. I showed you statistics a few weeks ago that Christianity is growing the fastest per capita in Iran, but they are under a rogue regime of oppression. And the very lifeblood is being drawn out of the Iranian people. The new president says, sorry, not going to meet with you, President Biden. Isn't it interesting that these things start to happen right after G7 and right after we have this meeting with President Putin and show our weakness? CBN put out a couple of minutes about the election of Ibrahim Raisi. I think it's very interesting. I got it queued up for you. Check this out about Iran.
As Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei boasted how the Iranian nation fulfilled its democratic responsibilities, many others called the election a sham.
They didn't even put up the facade of democracy. It was a one-man race. Anyone who could have threatened his victory was screened by the Guardian Council about a month ago, so they wouldn't get in the way.
As a prosecutor and member of the infamous death committees in the 1980s, the incoming president, Ibrahim Raisi, earned the nickname the Hangman of Tehran.
The executioner is now in the head of the executive branch. He sentenced thousands of people to death. There are the death sentences of the mass murders of 1988 that were buried in common graves without even marking.
In 2019, the U.S. government placed sanctions on Raisi, and Amnesty International has called for him to be charged with crimes against humanity. Official results indicate less than 50% of Iranians voted, an historic low turnout. Some claim it was even less, as dozens of videos online show no one at many polls.
In an election where they know a murderer will win, why hold it?
These Iranian mothers joined an online appeal to boycott the election.
Dear brave Iranians, don't vote in these elections. We have been voting for 40 years. This is the result. They killed our children.
In Jerusalem, new Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett says the election results will hopefully open the eyes of the world to see Iran for what it truly is.
Raisi's selection is, I would say, the last chance for the world powers to wake up before returning to the nuclear agreement and to understand who they're doing business with. These guys are murderers, mass murderers. A regime of brutal hangmen must never be allowed to have weapons of mass destruction that will enable it to not to kill thousands but millions.
Folks, there you have it. That is what it's looking like right now in Iran. Did you listen to the new Prime Minister of Israel? He came out and says, listen, we better wake up to what is going on. I believe that's a direct statement to the United States government because we are the biggest ally, the biggest supporter. And as Rick Berry drops here in the chat, he is correct. Biden is pulling anti-missile armaments from Middle Eastern positions. Folks, we're getting weaker by the day, and I am concerned because we are the ally to Israel. We are the friend. We are instructed as believers to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, but not only pray for the peace of Jerusalem, put some action to our prayers and show that we are in solidarity with them. So coming out of this weakness, this is what you begin to see. But it's not done yet. There was a few quotes I want to share with you. Former intelligence officer CIA Rebecca Koffler. This is what she stated after reading all of these transcripts and watching what transpired at the G7, what transpired at the summit with Vladimir Putin. She says, and I quote, "Allowing Putin to berate and discredit us in a solo press conference is quite a mistake for the Biden administration. To give them that ability," now listen to her opinion, "China comes out on top." Former Vice Chief of Staff, retired General Jack Keane, said, "Putin, I think, got more out of the meeting than he expected, given the major concessions that were made prior to the summit. A, pulling our support from Ukraine, and he was able to deny and deflect major issues." These are just a couple folks who have some serious experience and their observations on what is going on there. But folks, it doesn't stop there with Iran. How about this one? North Korea, Kim Jong-un's sister, warns the United States not to cause a stink. She's very influential, and she has came out now in agreement with her brother and has made a direct statement to the United States and specifically to the Biden administration. And she said, "Do not mess with us. Do not interfere with our affairs. Do not interfere with our affairs. Do not try to jump in and be the savior between the conversations between South Korea and North Korea. Do not mess with us and do not cause a stink." The American military has been pulling out of the Middle East, been pulling out of Afghanistan, which, I understand. We've been in a war there. We've got our soldiers. We need to bring them home. But you have to understand, when we pull our presence out of a region in the world, instantly instability will come. We have been pulling out of Afghanistan. Supposedly, we are to be fully withdrawn by September of 2021. And already, here goes the Taliban capturing Afghanistan's main Tajikistan border crossing. They are making ruffles against the Pakistani border. The Taliban is getting active again. It's not long ago. We can remember the Taliban. We can remember Al-Qaeda. We can remember Osama bin Laden. We can remember Saddam Hussein. You can remember George Herbert Walker Bush calling him Saddam. He says, "I will not call him Saddam because Saddam is a reference of disrespect." So Saddam Hussein. We had Muammar Gaddafi. We had leaders who were in position to take strong standings against these guys. Going back to Ronald Reagan in the 80s, moving even through the 90s, and I know that most of us in here, not Clinton fans, not Obama fans, but they had a stronger stance by light years than the current administration. Folks, of course, George Herbert Walker and GW and Donald Trump had stronger positions. The position right now is one of absolute weakness for American foreign policy. And we better, as the ambassador of Israel stated, we better wake up because this is coming. Currently in America, if you look back, your loaf of bread is costing quite a bit more. I do not know how much this brisk zero sugar iced tea cost, but I'm sure it cost more than it did months ago. And listen, this stuff is so good. If I need to go and drive through all the drive-thrus at 3 a.m. and collect the change so I can buy more of these, I'll do it. Y'all don't even know what I'm talking about. I got cousins down in Virginia who will leave at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm talking rednecks. Damon Mayo, I see you in there. Pastor Kerry Dyer checking in from Nevada. God bless you, Pastor Kerry. I have redneck cousins down in the beautiful Dominion of Virginia that will drive through drive-throughs at 3 a.m. and look on the ground to gather change from people who dropped it and just drove off. That's why I was saying, even if I need to do the redneck drive-through change pickup to go get another bottle of this, if you see me driving around Greenville, Pennsylvania at 3, don't worry about it. I'm just collecting change from the drive-throughs. Everything's getting more expensive. Right now, record high U.S. house prices, tight supply, weigh on sales. Let me break it down in a nutshell. Housing prices have risen 23.6%. They are at the highest relative rate they have been since 1999. We were experiencing housing bubble. You remember 1999 was the beginning of the dot-com and the stock market explosion that led us up to the 2008 global market crash. Right now, we're looking kind of like we're ticking along on that again. Record high U.S. houses. And guess what? There's not a lot for sale. And there's not a lot of new home housing starts. Why? Because contractors can't even afford to build the house to pass the cost on because of the cost of raw materials. So we're in a conundrum. We're in a cycle of some dangerous activities. So what happens? U.S. fast food chains cut discounts. Your dollar menu could be going away. And I know some of you like to go through that menu and drop $3, get you 2 sausage biscuits for $1 and get you a sweet tea for $1 and get you a cheeseburger for $1 and go on through, drop your change, knowing that I'll come by and pick it up at 3 in the morning. Those prices are probably going up. President Merkel, actually Chancellor Merkel of Germany, she is getting ready to be replaced soon. And she is being replaced by, what's his name? Armin Laschet. Armin Laschet, and that is a picture of him there. He has now come out and told President Biden, of course, after the G7, after the meeting with Vladimir Putin, do not start a new Cold War with China. Germany is the largest economy in the entire European Union, and he has come out and directly stated, do not start a Cold War with China on an economic front, because we will not stand with you, America. You will be on your own. We are working on our own relations with China. We have quite a bit of stuff that is bubbling right now. Folks, on the American front, we need to wake up. It's the title of the program tonight. Wake up so we can minister to the woke. Well, Illinois town, it's not just a town, it's Evanston, Illinois. Tonight, I am going to turn up the heat on Evanston, Illinois. This is not over yet. She was threatening the life of another girl. It's such a small minority making so much noise. Evanston, Illinois, you are being called out. Evanston, Illinois is permitting Juneteenth/BLM parades. Evanston, Illinois is allowing pride parades, listen to me now, both in the month of June. Folks, we are in the month of June, but Evanston, Illinois has canceled the 4th of July parade and celebration of America because there's a few strains of COVID that might be a little problematic for a July 4th parade. No, Evanston, Illinois, you are anti-American and you get the loser bonk tonight. You get a big boo and you are called up. We are turning up the heat on you. If you can allow anti-police parades, if you can allow Juneteenth parades, if you can allow BLM parades, if you can allow pride parades, all in the month of June, then you can allow America to be celebrated on July 4th, our birthday. If not, just cut yourself out of the map and move out of the country and go somewhere else. Evanston, Illinois, big boo for you. U.S. Olympic athlete Chelsea Wolfe. Folks, this is a transgender athlete. This is a man competing as a woman. It's already happening. It's happening from New Zealand. There are men lifting weights in the Olympics who are now women. You know, and I'm just not going there with all that stuff right now. But this one hits home. U.S. Olympic athlete Chelsea Wolfe, BMX freestyle rider, identifies as a woman, has stated, you know what? Let me zoom it in for you so you know. Look at here on the left. My goal is to win the Olympics so I can burn a U.S. flag on the podium. This is what they focus on during a pandemic, hurting trans children. I'm going to tell you one thing. What's your name, Chelsea Wolfe? You need Jesus. Is it okay for me to say that? You need Jesus? That's number one. As a believer, we love you. You need Jesus. You need a transforming power of the Holy Spirit in your life. But now, as an American, first of all, you're not going to win because I'm going to pray that you come in last, number one. Number two, if you even consider burning an American flag, not even on a podium, but anywhere in the nation of Japan and try to make a statement against America, I hope that some other athlete from a country that doesn't even have enough money to get to Japan. Let's think about the Jamaican bobsled team and John Candy. Let's think about athletes from nations in Africa who do not even have enough money to get there to compete, that are some of the greatest athletes in the world, and you setting up like this in the greatest country on the planet want to go and burn the flag to make a statement. I've got news for you. I hope some athlete from Kenya knocks you out. I gave the Jesus first, and now I gave the American. Don't you even think about burning our flag on the Olympic stage. Absolutely ridiculous and unacceptable. Have I depressed you? Have I depressed you? Shouldn't. This is what's going on. Folks, we better awaken so that we can minister to the woke. Later, if you're watching this on YouTube, you see the title that I put there. We must awaken so we can minister to the woke. I don't hate that person, Chelsea Wolfe. Absolutely not. The person needs Jesus. But secondly, don't you dare try to bring ill will to our country when you're there to represent us. Whoever is in charge of the American Olympic team, hear me tonight. Whoever is in charge of the American Olympic team, hear me tonight. Get that person off the Olympic team. The Olympics is about representing your country. Get them off the team. Send it to church. Him, whatever. I don't even know. Miracle on Ice captain. Couldn't believe. Mike. I forgot how to pronounce his name. Oh my goodness. Mike. I can spell it in my head. Oh my goodness. Mike. Eurosione. Oh, somebody help me, Mike. Oh, Mike, I'm so sorry. Eruzione. There it is. Eruzione. Mike Eruzione. I got it. I had to go to a pronunciation website to figure it out again. Mike Eruzione. Miracle on Ice, 1980, American ice hockey team defeated the great CCCP, USSR. Mike Eruzione says, I thought it was a prank. It is unacceptable that any athlete representing America would even consider burning a flag. Folks, that's where we're at. Now, we are not hopeless. We are not hopeless. For 40 minutes tonight on the program, I have shared with you post G7. I have shared with you post Biden, Putin 1. I have shared with you what is going on around the world in response, I believe, 100% to what unfolded at the G7 and the summit. Likewise, I've showed you some things that are going on in America, in our own towns, with our own athletes, with our economy. But I'm here to tell you, it's not over. The best is yet to come. My dear friends, those of you joining on Integrity Television, those of you joining on YouTube, those of you that are watching tonight on Facebook, listen to me very, very closely. Do not give up. It's not over until it's over, and it's not over. Jesus is still the King of Kings, and he is still the Lord of Lords. He is still our foundation. But with all that said, it is high time that we wake up and pay attention. I want to give you a scripture tonight. Paul wrote in the book of Romans. He wrote this. Chapter 13, verse 11. And do know this, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now our salvation is nearer than when we first believed. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Therefore, let us cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light. It's time to wake up. I believe that's what the Prime Minister of Israel just said to the world. It's time to wake up. I want to bring you an example tonight out of history. How many of you have ever heard of this dude right here, John Wesley? Famous preacher, famous songwriter, brother of Charles Wesley. John Wesley lived 1703 to 1791, and really one of the founders of the Methodist movement. Powerful, powerful man of God. He wrote the song, "Oh, for 1,000 Tongues to Sing." I think he was also a part of the team that wrote "Hark the Herald Angels Sing," that you sing and I sing every Christmas. From his diary in the late 1700s, I want you to hear this. Maybe this is how you feel tonight. Maybe you feel What's the use? It looks like we're so far behind that we're not going to catch up. I would answer you, but God. Well, you know, it looks like our voice is being quieted. Mine's not. And you're in here with me, and you can hit that share button. You can hit that like button. I've already moved to Integrity Television with a larger audience. Integrity Television has 51 million subscribers. Our voice is not being silenced. We just need to be a part and work together to get it out more and more and more. It's not over. John Wesley experienced failures. John Wesley experienced rejection. John Wesley experienced antagonism. John Wesley experienced persecution. John Wesley, listen, he experienced his voice being silenced, but he didn't give up. Look what his diary says here from the late 1700s. Sunday morning, May the 5th, I preached in St. Anne's, and I was asked not to come back anymore. Sunday p.m. May 5th, I preached at St. John's. The deacons said I had to get out and stay out. Sunday a.m. May 12th, preached at St. Jude's. Can't go back there either. Sunday evening, May 12th, preached at St. George's. Kicked out again. Sunday morning, May 19th, preached at St. somebody else's. Deacons called special meeting and said I couldn't return. Sunday p.m., May 19th, preached on the street, kicked off the street. Now, of course, folks, this has been put into modern language from his diaries. Sunday morning, May 26th, I preached in a meadow, chased out of the meadow as a bull was turned loose during the service. Sunday a.m., June 2nd, I preached out at the edge of town and I was kicked off the highway. Sunday p.m., June the 2nd, afternoon service, preached in a pasture. 10,000 people came to hear me. Sometimes the things we perceive as failures are actually the steps that are needed for breakthrough. I believe the greatest and the best is yet to come. Because out of adversity comes greatness. Probably most of you in here like diamonds. I think there's a song or a saying, diamonds are a girl's best friend. Hey, diamonds are beautiful, but they don't start that way. How do they start? They are formed under intense, powerful pressure. Don't give up. The best is yet to come. Now, folks, I want to share something with you tonight that I think will, I think this will be something that will encourage you. Julia, I am on right after Flashpoint. About a week ago, Ted Cruz, the senator from Texas, spoke at an event in Washington, D.C. He gave about a 40-minute speech. I downloaded the entire speech this afternoon and I edited it because there's no way I could play his entire speech in here. But I edited it. This is not from some other place. This actually happened. This is Ted Cruz. You may like him. You may not like him. It's not what I'm here to talk about. But I want you to hear what comes out of his mouth. And don't you dare give up. We've got some good people in America. Ted Cruz is one of them. Governor DeSantis is another one. Governor Abbott is another one. And I could keep listing and listing. That's not what I want to do. I took 40 minutes and I pushed it down to 4. And I run my program 60 minutes on the dot. And I want to give 4 minutes of my time to Ted Cruz because you need to hear what this man just said just a few days ago. Get ready. This is incredible.
God bless faith and freedom. Our founding fathers were extraordinary patriots. America has been a force for good in the world. We should stand for our national anthem. Police officers keep us safe. Marriage is a holy covenant before God. An unborn child is a child. Children do best when they're raised by a mother and a father. Israel is our friend. And there is a difference between boys and girls. And today we're at a moment where saying those words can get you canceled. Saying those words can get you fired. Saying those words can get you erased. Now, as I was preparing these remarks backstage, I initially had a call to arms. And one of the folks on my team said, no, I'm sorry, you can't say that. No, in this environment, the numbskulls in the media, by which I mean all of them, the numbskulls in the media will say, see, it's a call to violent action. No, you nimwits. Because you need help spelling it out. Let me help you on this. A call to rhetorical arms, a call to be prayer warriors, a call to organize, a call to mobilize, and a call to go to the ballot box and use your arms to vote the bums out. As a Christian and as an American, I love my brothers and sisters, whatever skin color you are, whatever ethnicity you are, whatever faith you are, whatever creed you are. We are commanded to love, period, the end. And let me close with a simple story. It's a story that my dad has preached from the pulpit many times. He's preached it concerning salvation, but it is every bit as applicable to fighting for our nation. It's a story of a tightrope walker. Tightrope walker extends a tightrope across a gigantic waterfall. Crowd gathers to see him. The tightrope walker asks the crowd, he says, how many of you believe I can walk across this tightrope and back? The crowd cheers, and he does it. Tightrope walker then pulls out a wheelbarrow, says, how many of you believe I can walk across this wheelbarrow, this tightrope and back, pushing a wheelbarrow? Crowd cheers, and he does it. He says, how many of you believe I can walk across this tightrope and back with 2 100-pound bags of sand in the wheelbarrow? Crowd cheers, and he does it. He says, how many of you believe I can walk across this tightrope and back with a man in the wheelbarrow? The crowd cheers, and he turns to a man in the front row. He says, get in the wheelbarrow. It's one thing to sit there quietly and do a golf clap. It's one thing to say, oh, I believe we'll save our nation. It's another thing to get in the wheelbarrow. It's another thing to be fully committed with every ounce you've got, to begin the morning on your knees on prayer for our nation, to spend the days standing and speaking the truth that America is great, that freedom matters, that faith matters, that we will take our nation back, that we will defend America. And revival is coming. God bless America. Revival is coming.
And You're all worried, man. Oh, we're in trouble. Ted Cruz, thank you. I see your guys' comments. Myrna Scales, thank you, Ted Cruz. I see you there. And Julia, please make this shareable. Listen, I will turn that into a short. I will put it on my YouTube channel. Please, guys, go to the YouTube channel and share it, like it, put it on your Facebook page, because there is an American senator from Texas telling the truth, putting it out there. Let's help him get the message out. And tonight, it is not over. My dear friends, all of you that are watching this now, or you will be watching it later, let's stop talking about it. Yes, we need to understand what is going on in our country, what is going on in the world, but please make no mistake about it. It's not over yet, because Jesus is still the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and he wants to work only not through Ted Cruz, not only through Governor DeSantis, not only through Donald Trump, but he wants to work through you. He wants to work through you, and he wants to work through you. And if you're out there, you put you on your chest. Let's go jump in the wheelbarrow. Let's get on the tightrope, and let's believe that something awesome and powerful is about to happen. So, Ted Cruz, big thanks to you. You get a big cheer. We're going to be sharing that. Never think you don't have a voice. Never think that it's over. It's not over, because Jesus is still the King of Kings. May the Lord bless you, keep you, cause his face to shine upon you, be gracious to you. We love you guys. We gone.